And here with me, it's up at the bee house.
Okay, it'll be all right. Now, with any luck. Yay. Okay, we're going to play the game. What does this word mean? Now it's a series of questions. Some of them will be all the answers. Some of them will be part of them. All of them will have at least one answer in there.
And we write it down and we discuss it in the end?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or we can just go back to the word you want.
Okay.
Okay, what is the queen? Which is the right one? To be one, is it the Queen of England? Two, the many bees in a hive. Is it the male bee? Or most time it is a hive that only bee that lays the eggs in most hives. What's your guess?
Number 4, unless that queen identifies differently. Sorry. Inappropriate. I'm sorry. I'm muting myself.
Number 2, the drone. The drone may be the male bees in a hive, the layer of eggs in a hive, the bee that cares for the brood, or the forager in the hive. Which is your guess?
Number 1.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, somebody's answering it on Messenger and that she was right both times.
I can't see it, so you'll have to monitor that part, Kathy.
Okay. It was from an iPhone.
I'm gonna make you co-host.
Okay.
Yeah, I just have my screen on there, so you'll have to monitor that part. Uh-oh. Okay, worker bees. What does this mean? Is it the bee that has many roles in the hive? The cast of bees that has the most sisters in the hive? The bee in the hive that does the most work? The bee that could sting us? Or is it all the above?
Five.
Number 5.
You go. You guys are swift tonight. The virgin queen. Is it the bee that lays the eggs? The bee that makes the honey? The bee that is not mated? Or the bee we all look for?
3.
3.
Very good.
And
Forager.
got it right too.
Okay. Forager, the bee we see tending to the newbies, the bee we see on flowers and trees that gather either nectar or pollen, the bee that never leaves the hive, or the youngest bee in the hive.
Number 2.
Number 2.
Correct. So what is a nurse bee? Is it an EMT that rides the ambulance? Is it the bee that gathers resources? Is it the bee that tends to new brood? Or is it the bee that lays eggs?
3.
Number 3.
Or 3. Very good.
Good. She knows the answers.
Yeah. Drone layer. Is it a well-fertilized queen? A drone, a worker, a queen for a number of reasons is not laying fertilized eggs?
3.
3.
I'd say number 3 and number 4.
Correct. Yeah, it can go both to be both of them. A laying worker. Is it a queen, a drone, a worker bee that has many reasons starts to lay eggs that will be all drones, or the construction worker that just lays around?
3.
3, but I would change it. I would change it to worker bees because there's never just one laying worker.
That is true. I'll make that correction.
I didn't know that.
I don't think I can here. Nope. Okay, a scout bee. Is it the Native American bees? A bee that we see looking for a new home? A bee that carries a bow and an arrow? Or a bee with a tomahawk?
2.
Good job. That Deborah
Robber
Means-
bee.
that Deborah-
Is it the,
Another good answer for that is a bee that sells cookies.
oh yeah, I'll add that. The bee with, okay, the robber bee. Is it the bee that has a mask on? A bee that carries a sack to put her stolen goods in? Or the bee that steals honey from other weaker hives? Or the bee that is the friendliest?
3.
3.
3. A guard bee. Is it the bee that guards the entrance of the hives? Is it a bee that carries a gun? Is it the bee that usually wears a uniform? A bee that yells, "Halt! Who goes there?"
Oh, who goes there?
Number 1 and number 4.
Yeah, I would say that too.
Good. A queen right hive. Is that a hive that has day-old eggs? A hive that you saw the queen in when you were inspecting? The hive that sounds and acts happy? The hive that usually is calm and easy to look into? 5, all of the above.
All of the above.
Number 5.
Okay, what about a queenless hive? I think that queenless should be one word, but the hive that has no eggs, young larvae, the hive that is loud and mean, the hive that you can't find evidence of a queen in, and a hive that is dwindling away, or 5, all the above.
Yeah. Also 5.
Number 5. A marked queen. Is it the queen that has a mark on her head? A queen that has a mark on her stinger? A queen that has a paint mark on her abdomen? Or the queen that is a paint mark on her thorax?
4.
4.
Everybody
Number-
agree? Number 4?
Yep.
Mhm.
Queen cage. Is it a cage that the queen catches raccoons? A cage that'll hold the queen either for marking or isolation? A cage for the queen of a country? Or a cage a queen puts their bad bees in?
Number 2. So,
Kathy got the giggles. Release a queen. Is it a queen you posted bail for? A queen you let out of her cage? A queen you've thrown out of the hive? Or a queen you gave away?
Number 2.
Number 2. That's not spelled. Requeen is what it's supposed to say. A hive you think needs a new queen. A hive that needs a queen. A new queen that will start laying right away and build a hive up. Or to put a new fertilized queen in a hive.
I have all 4, all of them.
Yeah, I would think all of them too.
Yeah.
Number 5, all of the above.
Yeah, should have
Yeah.
a number 5 on there, huh?
Yep.
What is a retinue? Is it all drones? A group of bees that feed drones? A group of bees that build comb? A group of ladies that tend to all the queen's needs?
Number 4, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I don't know this one.
Yeah, number
Mhm.
4.
Number 4, correct.
I have a great picture of a retinue.
Okay. Nice. Can we put it on
Maybe I'll
after we get?
post it.
Okay, yeah. A bee sting. What we get sometimes, what a drone does, what an egg does, or what a broom frame does.
Number one
Number one,
for all the fun.
a queen cell. It hangs from the bottom of a frame. Number two, it sticks upward on the frame. Or number three, it hangs sideways. Or number four, is built outside of the hive.
One.
Everybody agree?
Yeah, that's the only one that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Right. It's a queen
Supersede.
cell. Hey, she didn't say sworn cell and she didn't say supersedure, so it had to be number one.
Okay. Supersedure cell is found if you already have 5 queens. It's typically found somewhere in the middle of the comb, or there is no such thing as a supersedure cell, or is it for growing drones?
Come on, newbies.
Two. I don't know.
Number 2. A swarm cell, mostly placed on the bottom of brood comb, is for drones. Is it for workers, or is it for filling honey?
Number one.
Number
Yes.
1. A queen cup. Small cells beginning to look like a queen cell, but it's empty. Number 2, queen cup has honey in it. Or is it number 3 is for drones to lay in? Or number 4, filled with champagne.
Number
One.
one. Wish it was number 4.
Yeah.
Oh, I needed this.
I was going for number 1 on that question. A drone cell. Is it used to store food? Is it needed to hold 5-day-old queens? Is it the only cell needed? Or is it bigger and holds male bees?
Number 4.
Number
Yeah.
4.
Number 4.
What is fastooning? That number 1, bees getting ready for a party. Number 2, bees planning a festival. Number 3, bees on a swarm trip. Or is it number 4, is seen as a group of bees joining up and linking their legs together to form a chain in the hive?
It's so pretty to see too.
It is.
And this one, is it number 4?
4.
Yes. It's really neat looking.
Yeah, if you haven't look up fastooning, and it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's cool.
What is fanning? Is it when bees kick their legs up in the air? Is it sometimes seen fanning their wings at the entrance of a hive for ventilation? Is it number 3, when the bees are hot and they just sit around fanning themselves with little fans? Or number 4, bees just sitting around in a circle?
Two.
Yeah, number 2.
Number 2. What is a varroa destructor? Is it number 1, what we beekeepers refer to as mites? Number 2, are harmful and can kill our hives. Number 3, can cause a hive to get sick. Number 4, can feed off of our bees. Number 5, can be carried around by bees to other hives. Number 6, can it be found in cells feeding off your young bees? Number 7 is an external parasite. Number 8 is the most hated by beekeepers today.
Number 9.
Number 9,
All the above.
all the above. Very good. We'll have to make some more of this. Okay, fun facts. That's on the inside of that Beekeeper's Handbook. Some will have to share the answers with us. Not everybody has that book. Okay,
Okay.
how often do workers feed the queen during the peak rearing time?
Is that in this page?
It's on the inner cover under fun
Right.
facts.
I'm not, I don't have the book and I'm just listening to learn. I ain't talking, I ain't saying no more.
I like that lady.
Every 20 to 30 minutes until peak rearing.
Correct. Good job. How much does a queen larva grow from the egg? So when it comes, how much does it grow from an egg to a larva?
May I answer it?
Yeah.
1,500 to 1,700 times its weight of an egg.
Correct. How many times can a worker bee sting?
Only one time, I thought.
No.
One time. How often do bees feed worker larvae in 2 hours' time?
What was that question again, please?
How often do bees feed the worker larvae in a 2 hours' time?
Oh. 2% of the time.
How often, how
Worker-
many times do they feed it?
About 143.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
How often
in
is
2
the
hours.
queen larva fed in the same 2 hours' time?
1,600 times.
Yeah, they take care of her,
Wow.
don't they?
Wow.
How many bee
Worker
stings?
bee feeds the car 600 times in 2 hours.
How many bee stings make up an ounce of venom?
Thousands.
Bee stings. There is 190,000 bee stings per ounce of venom.
190,000.
Wow. That's a whole hive of bees.
Yeah, to get an
That's a, lo-
ounce.
that's
get
a
an
lot of
ounce.
bees to sacrifice for bee therapy for arthritis and stuff.
That's correct. Yes.
That's true.
How often
Huh.
does a bee spin collecting pollen?
10 to 187 minutes for collecting pollen.
Or the first one, the bee spends 10 to 187 minutes collecting off of one plant.
Correct.
Yes. How many pollen grains can be on one bee?
Ooh. 20,000 to 6 million.
Depending on the flower
Pollen grains
species.
on one bee, depending on the flower species. Now that's fascinating.
1,000,000,000 pollen grains on a berry.
20,000 to 6 million.
Who
Would you
counted
like to
that?
be the pollen counter on that, Kathy?
And we're up to 275,001.
Okay, is it true that honeybees are the only insect that produce human food? True or
No,
false?
Yes.
cows.
Only insect.
Insect.
Yeah.
The
Okay, I
only, it
can't
is
see
the
the
only insect.
Okay.
True. How much does a worker bee weigh?
She's got me bouncing around. 121 milligrams.
Not very much, huh?
It's a milligram.
Yeah. Of a colony of 50,000 bees, what is the daily death rate?
500.
500. So when people get
Oh,
alarmed
my.
about seeing bees,
500 a day.
so 500 out of that
Well,
hive a
well,
day
they-
can be
Out
a
of
death rate.
50,000 a day. Hell, ain't gonna be none left by the end of the summer.
Right, that's why we got to keep them laying. Do foragers sleep?
No.
Well, they have to rest.
Most foragers sleep at night.
But they,
Most of the night. hmm
there ain't nothing for
In
them to
one
get.
trip, how many flowers may a honeybee visit?
What was that question again?
Thousands.
In one trip, how many flowers may a honeybee visit?
Okay.
On the string, girlfriend. On my phone, notes on yours, but I'm done. And you're talking. You're talking, so I know you can see. Know what
It looks like
Way more than me.
50 to 350 flowers.
I was going for 1, 2, 3, 4,
I'm looking.
5, 6, the seventh one down under nectar collecting.
150 flowers.
Okay. Oh, in one trip, they commit
And
from
one
75 up to
trip, and then they take
3,000
it back to the
flowers.
hive.
Yeah.
150 flowers, and then
Wow.
take it back to the hive, and you can go back out.
How much honey
work
does a
really
honeybee produce in its lifetime?
Huh. That's interesting.
How much honey does a honeybee produce in its lifetime? I don't know. Teaspoon?
Not a whole teaspoon. A 1/12 of a teaspoon. 5
Wow.
drops. Just 5 little drops. How much honey may a swarm carry to its new home?
Well, that's a good one.
Wow.
36
Okay.
milligrams of honey.
Correct. How
That's
many strokes a minute does a honeybee make with its wings?
Hmm. 11,500 times a minute.
Now that's
true
pretty fast.
A true fly does 62,000 a minute.
That is a lot, isn't it? No wonder
Yeah.
the honeybees only live 6 weeks in the summer. They wear themselves out.
They wear their wings out.
Yeah.
You can see sometimes. I feel sorry for them. Their wings are all tattered.
Okay, the last question. A bee gorge with 30 milligrams of honey can travel how many miles?
Oh my gosh.
So that means you get new bees every year because the bees work and the queen lays eggs and they
34 miles.
feed the larvae because you got separate sections.
34 miles.
And then by the time spring
Correct.
comes, they're hatching and you got new bees.
Okay, that's all the questions I made up. Could have done a lot more though, couldn't we?
Yes. I've looked at this front page a few times because I have it all highlighted.
Yeah, you do need to know a lot of those facts.
On the second test, not the first, I don't think.
Correct, the second test.
And now I'm disappointed that I have to wait a whole year.
Yeah, I know, because you're all studied up, huh?
Yeah, and Jay Cox actually sent me a study guide that
Uh-huh.
helped, and
Uh-huh.
a picture of the book I already have that I've been going through regularly.
Yes.
And in the study group, there was I think 50 or 60 questions, and 2 of them I didn't know.
Mhm.
One of them surprised me, and it
What's
talks
that?
about it talks about in the winter months, what piece of equipment do you remove? And it said the inner cover, and the way I was taught, you turn your inner cover over because they have 2 sides for the winter.
Yes, I've never
So
removed mine.
No, but that was one question that I was surprised, because I don't 4 out of 5 hives have inner covers on them right now. I turn
Did
them
you
over.
did you look it
I'm
up?
I'm going to, because the pages are listed on the
Okay.
study guide.
To make sure that that's been correct. What was the second one?
I forget what the other one was. I understood which was really hard for me, and I really worked on it, was American foul brood and European foul brood. I know American foul brood is the one that's the worst, and it's ropey with a stick.
Correct.
And the European, the larva changes colors.
Yes,
It gets brownish.
and they
Yeah,
kind of look twisted like little tornadoes.
Yeah, they say that instead of being pearly white, they actually get a brown tone to them.
Right.
I did. That was where that kind of stuff I really had to think about and study it. But I pretty much, I think I got that.
Microphone on.
Yeah, we have I'll do maladies, I think, in 2 weeks, so we'll go over that again.
Cool.
So that's all I worked up for tonight. Does anybody have any questions or anything they want to talk about?
No, I thought that was fun.
Yeah, that was
It
great.
was.
Yeah, I try not to answer too many. I know Susan and Michelle, we all know the answers. I said, wait a minute, slow down.
Yeah, it's hard not to answer, isn't it?
It is hard not to answer, but I'd wait a minute and wait for somebody to answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too. I kept my mouth shut.
You did really good.
Do you I wanted to ask if you swarms this early. I know it's only February, but do you ever see swarms this early?
No.
Not where we live, no.
No.
I'm hoping to
Hey,
catch
the best-
some this year.
The best part
It's
about
more like
keeping the bird-
April.
yeah, late April. Because I kept a journal so I could see what happened last year, and I think that the swarm I had last year was right around the very first week in May.
Does anybody have any reports? Anybody been looking at their hives since it was warm this week?
Well, I did an OA treatment yesterday. I'll pull the board Saturday morning.
You're
Oh.
ahead of I was waiting a week, because you and I do it about the same time, Michelle.
Yeah.
Yeah, next week we have some 60-degree days again, so I figured I'd do it then.
Has
Yeah,
any,
and I lifted up the quilt boxes a bit to check my candy boards because I made some extra, but they're just starting to hit on them.
Well, good for you. I had 2 highs I had to add bricks to.
Yeah.
I
Well, I made
That old
couple
woman there,
more little
she don't
ones.
look like she'd touch a house. She's all fancy dressed and stuff.
I went out and got more cinder blocks today because I'm going to raise the height of my hives this year
okay.
because of mice and coon and skunk. They say if I raise
Are yours
them
on the
up,
ground?
No, but they're the low side of a cinder block. If they say if I
Mhm.
stand it up, make it that much higher, it'll make a skunk stand up on its hind legs, and the bees will sting the belly.
Yeah,
18
They're supposed
inches
to
they
have-
recommend.
How many?
18.
18 inches?
yeah.
But you don't
Yeah,
want to
just
do
don't-
with that to the
We
dimmer
don't
ray
have any
one.
skunks around
I
here,
know.
do we? Yeah, we never smell skunks. They're not around here.
Yeah,
Good.
just be careful you don't put
Awesome.
too high, make too high of a stand. Because then once you start putting supers on or use a
I know.
deck, it's gonna be too high and you have trouble
Right.
lifting it.
I know.
Then the wind will be more apt to get them higher they are, you know.
Well, I do ratchet everything, and I buy the big heavy
Okay.
ratchets.
Good.
Mhm.
Because it is windy around here.
Mm-hmm.
And I figure if a bear knocks it over, at least it'd stay together.
Yeah.
They ratchet it together with a ratchet strap.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Hides and stuff. So if it falls over, it stays together. If a bear knocks it over, it stays together.
You hope it stays together.
Yeah, I hope
Yeah.
it stays together.
People that use ratchet straps usually don't choke them down good enough.
Mine are took down real hard. The hardest
They
part
gotta
is
be
the
on there tight.
styrofoam lids, because I cut into the styrofoam.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So Deb, when you said you worked your hives, what did you end up doing?
I just raised up the lid and looked in at the sugar and the sugar cakes and the fondant I had. Most of them were okay. Well, I had 2 of mine here and 2 of Amy's. And I just added a fresh fondant just because I had it with me under the inner cover. And I did give them a little 2-inch square pollen patty with the rocket fuel that I picked up at the
Yeah.
expo.
I put mine inside my candy board, so as they're eating them out, they're getting it.
Mm-hmm. I didn't put any in then this year. I did that last year, but not this year. So I was thought it was getting close enough.
Yeah, when I make my candy boards right in the middle, I'll put a strip of pollen patty
Mm-hmm.
so that as they really don't get to that until almost spring.
Right. I know it was a little early for the pollen patty. Should have waited till next month, but I wasn't quite sure what the weather will be. And since I was in there, I just give them a little bite.
Yeah.
And
I'm starting to,
It's not too early. You
don't
have
think?
warmer weather than I do. No,
Yeah.
you're fine.
I
When we moved
autopsied.
ours, we always fed them in February.
Okay. I autopsied that one hive that I lost, which I was I just didn't know why. And it showed the cluster and it looked like it starved. It looked like it was on a frame and they were all together, but right beside their food.
Yeah.
They didn't move over 3 inches to eat. So
Mhm.
Did any of them have their head stuck in the
yeah.
cell? Yeah, that's sad, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a question. I
Okay.
saw on Facebook, Mon County has their bee lab.
Yeah,
And-
Mountaineer.
Mountaineer, they're having the bee lab and they're having they're showing a talk that somebody did at a spring or fall conference. I don't remember. It sounds interesting because it's doing an autopsy on a hive, a dead hive. Is that video available on the state?
It's going on. It started at 6:30. I don't know if they videoed it or not, but I know Bethany was taking 3 hives.
Well, they said it was a film they were watching, and it was recorded at one of the conferences. So I was
okay.
wondering if it's on the state website
Yes, it would be.
or someplace. Yeah,
Now we
'cause it
have it.
sounded interesting.
I have haven't gotten the notice from this year's expo yet, but it would have been from last year's, yeah. But I know
If it is,
Bethany
we
was
have-
taking 3 hives to one of those gatherings to autopsy.
If it's a
But-
video from last year, we have it.
Yeah, we would have it.
Yeah,
It's, the
Michelle,
guy's last
have
name
it.
is Dewey.
Dewey,
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
we'll look
We
for
can
it.
look into that. We can do our own if that's what it is, because we have that, should have that video.
Yeah, we would.
yeah, it looked interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because I know Bethany loaded up her hives and took them to the meeting last week. So I texted her next morning. I said, "What did they do with the autopsy?" She goes, well, it's not. It wasn't the right night." So she had Chad load up 3 hives, and it wasn't the right day.
You know what? You're right, Deb. I don't see where it says remove the inner cover.
Okay. Why don't you send him a message and say, where did that come from? Because you're not finding it in the book. Now, you are going to run across, when you start to take that test, that there is some discrepancies from what you will answer from what the book is, and there is no use to contest it because he will not change it.
Right. You said that and people have.
So be prepared to know that not every
Removing
question
the
is
extra equipment.
100%. So I didn't know if that was one of those or not, that people were big contestants.
Yeah, because it's funny, the test thing. It was verbatim for this picture, and it says, remove any extra equipment, but it doesn't say remove an inner cover. It's like somebody made that up.
Yeah.
It's not even in there to remove
I've
it.
never heard them say to remove a cover.
Me
inner
neither.
cover.
And that was the answer on that one question. I couldn't believe it. It says
Because a lot of times they, do the camp sugar method. You do it
Yes.
on the inner cover.
You do it on
It's
the
just-
inner cover. That's what I did. I got all mine camped on the inner cover.
Yeah.
it
Yep.
says
So
fall management requires all but. I missed the word but.
oh yeah, well that big butt means a lot, doesn't it?
Well, no, yeah, that makes it all the sense because everything else you do remove.
Right.
Honey
So
supers that are empty, queen excluders.
I recommend you read every question twice. And if you hesitate, read it a 3rd time because of that reason.
That was a good example for me.
Yeah.
Thank you. I didn't read the question properly.
And I didn't either. And so
That's
I missed
why I
several.
don't like taking tests.
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
did not thoroughly think the question through before I circled it. So I think all of the first test is either add a word, true or false, or pick A, B, or C, or D. But now the second test gets into writing paragraphs and, and stuff.
Well, when I went through the like I said, when I went through the test, the whatever they call it, study test or whatever it is, I tried not to look at the answer. I knew the answer. It's basic beekeeping that I should know by now. That's why you have to have how much, 4 years before you can take it? What's the qualifications? I know it's not a lot.
So say your question again.
How much experience do you need to qualify to take the first test?
None, just a
I
couple
think
months.
it matters.
It's
No.
4 months. It's 4 months.
4 months, yeah.
Yeah, it's 4 months. Maybe a year or two, I might have to study a little harder, but almost all of it to me on that practice test was pretty basic knowledge.